You saw a black cat cross the road this morning. You told yourself it meant nothing, but you still hesitated, just for a second. And in that second, something ancient moved inside you. That hesitation is not weakness, it is not superstition. It is a signal that has been running in the human brain for at least 100,000 years, maybe longer. And scientists are only now beginning to understand why it will never fully go away. Here is what no one tells you about omens. They were never really about cats or crows or broken mirrors. They were about something far more fundamental. They were about your brain trying to stay alive in a world where the cost of being wrong was death. Think about what it meant to be human 50,000 years ago. You are walking through tall grass at dusk. You hear a rustle. It could be wind. It could be a predator. You have approximately 1 second to decide. The ones who assumed it was nothing sometimes died. The ones who assumed it was something survived, ran, and had children. Those children had children. And eventually, one of them is you. Psychologist Michael Shermer at Chapman University calls this process patternicity. It is your brain's tendency to find meaningful patterns in meaningless noise. And it is not a flaw. It is the most important feature your ancestors ever evolved. The cost of seeing a pattern that isn't there is low. You run from nothing. You feel foolish. You survive. The cost of missing a pattern that is real is extinction. So your brain learned to err wildly on the side of seeing patterns everywhere. In clouds, in the behavior of animals, in the timing of events, in the movements of stars. And once your brain starts finding patterns, it does something even more powerful. It starts finding causes. Anthropologist Pascal Boyer at Washington University in St. Louis spent decades studying why supernatural beliefs appear in every single human culture without exception. Not most cultures, every one, no matter how isolated, no matter how different their language, food, or environment. They all develop systems of omens, signs, and sacred meanings. Boyer's conclusion was not that humans are irrational. His conclusion was that the brain module that generates supernatural thinking is the same module that generates social intelligence. Think about what that means. The part of your brain that reads other people's intentions, that senses when someone is watching you, that predicts what someone might do next. That exact same system is what fires when a raven lands on your fence and something inside you says this means something. Your social brain does not switch off when there are no people in the room. It keeps running. And when it finds no person to attach meaning to, it attaches meaning to everything else: the weather, the animals, the arrangement of objects, the direction of the wind. This is why ancient humans didn't just observe the natural world, they read it, the way you read a face. But here is where it gets genuinely strange. The belief in omens did not just comfort people, it changed their behavior in ways that sometimes actually worked. Consider what anthropologist Bronislaw Malinowski observed when he studied the Trobriand Islanders in the early 20th century. These people were skilled fishermen. When they fished in the calm inner lagoon where the work was safe and predictable, they used almost no ritual whatsoever. They just fished. But when they went out to the deep open ocean, where storms could appear without warning and where the danger was real and unpredictable, they performed elaborate rituals before every voyage. They read signs in the water, in the behavior of birds, in the direction of the morning wind. And they believed those signs told them whether to go or not. Malinowski did not laugh at them. He understood something. These rituals did something real. They focused attention. They slowed decision-making. They forced fishermen to pause, observe, and consult shared knowledge encoded over generations into symbolic behavior. The omen wasn't magic. The omen was a memory system, a decision framework, a way of accessing accumulated wisdom without having a library. When your grandmother said never start a journey on a Friday, she was not being irrational. She was transmitting risk management logic in the only package that survived long enough to reach you, a story with a warning attached to it. That warning stuck not because it was written down, but because it was emotionally charged. And here is the neuroscience behind that. Researcher Ara Norenzayan at the University of British Columbia found that beliefs tied to supernatural consequences, if you do this, something bad will happen, are dramatically more memorable and transmissible than neutral information. They stick, they spread, they survive. The brain doesn't file them under curiosity, it files them under danger, and the brain never forgets danger. So consider what your ancestors were doing when they built these systems of meaning. They were creating a technology. Not a technology made of metal or stone, but a technology made of attention and narrative. A system for noticing the world more carefully than any individual ever could alone. And they wrap that system in belief because belief is what makes human beings actually follow through. You don't wash your hands because you understand germ theory on a molecular level. You wash your hands because somewhere along the line, someone made you feel that not doing so was wrong. Disgust and dread are what make rules stick. And in a world without textbooks, dread was the most effective teacher available. This is why every ancient civilization, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Chinese, Mayan, Greek, West African, independently developed elaborate systems of divination and omen reading. Not because they were all confused, but because they were all running the same brain, a brain that desperately needed to find signal in the noise of a dangerous world, a brain that needed to make decisions with incomplete information, under time pressure, with survival on the line. And here is what makes this haunting. That brain is still yours.